It's very tempting to play politics on both sides with this, but the president is saying that can't release it the way it is right now. Republicans are saying, well, this was a booby trap on the part of Democrats. What would be wrong then with the president then redacting some names or something to at least, you know, throw it back at Democrats' faces that that's not what's going on here, or is it too late for that?
Well, I never thought I'd see a week in which Democrats and Republicans would be bipartisan on the budget, but break down, I think, so severely on trying to agree to some basic facts in this investigation. And I think what we're seeing is the result of that breakdown. I think the Democrats voted against releasing the Republican memo. I think Trump is now tweaking them a bit by holding up the memo and suggesting they have to make changes. I think the Democrats either could leak it, which I think would be a mistake, or make some changes, in which case they have to acknowledge that their memo had some things that shouldn't have been there, which they don't want to do. And I think Trump is trying to squeeze play on them. On balance, I think he might have been a little bit better just getting it out there. Right. But we are where we are.
Yeah, we are where we are. You know, you mentioned an important dichotomy here, Mark, and I thought too. They did agree to keep the government lights on for another couple of years. First time we've had a 2-year budget agreement on the part of both parties. You know, there must connect on some level when both sides are also complaining about it. But it is what it is. They did show sort of bipartisanship there. Now, again, those against it, as you've heard on this very show, on the Democratic and the Republican side, had their reasons that it was not worth the effort, but it was done. So it can be done. Bipartisanship can happen. But then the memo. So what's going to win out the remainder of this year in this back and forth?
Well, but I think fundamentally the Grassley-Graham Memo is the fundamental eye-opening memo in this thing. I mean, really, Lindsey Graham, no friend of President Trump. That memo, I think, is much stronger than the Nunes memo. And it says pretty clearly that you know, the Steele dossier is what was heavily relied upon for these FISA warrants. I don't really understand why Democrats and Republicans can't agree to a basic set of facts. Clearly, the fact that this was paid for by the DNC and the Hillary campaign was not given to the court. And also, interestingly, when FBI Director Comey
they were not aware of the source of this material, that it was a political, you know, agenda here.
No, there was apparently a footnote, but it wasn't disclosed. And also, when Comey met with President Trump, he didn't tell him that it came from the Clinton campaign, and that might have ended the whole thing right then and there in January, because Trump would obviously have spilled the beans on that one pretty quickly. And so this fact was concealed for a very long time until really the Republicans went to court on that. Yeah. And it's a basic fundamental fact. I mean, that's the whole problem with this. Why is there a partisan fight over the basic facts here? There should be agreement on these facts, that what was used, who paid for it, you know, what went into this, you know, what was the Papadopoulos role. Everybody should agree so that all Americans can really understand what is happening here.
You know, finally, the president was commenting on this, you know, this tweet on the U.S. spies, quoting here, "A Russian sold phony secrets on Trump to the U.S. Asking price $10 million, brought down to $1 million to be paid over time. I hope people are now seeing and understanding what's going on here. It is all now starting to come out, drain the swamp." In other words, continuing a theme that there's an agenda to get him.
Well, look, what do I think? You know, if I look at the evidence that's come out so far, and particularly that the Grassley memo, I say, look, probably Steele went to everyone and created an echo chamber that everyone wanted to believe. They thought it was true, and they created this whole mirage based on a story that reverberated throughout all the members of the press. And I think that's what we're seeing here. All
right, I'm sorry to jump on you. The heartbreak comes when I'm chatting with you or not. The repercussions of what Mark just said and what the president just tweeted right after this.